We have the pleasure to be joined right now by Dr. John Gallucci. He's the president of JAG Physical Therapy with locations throughout New Jersey and New York City. Check out the website, jagpt.com. He's also just named the chair of the New Jersey Council of Physical Fitness and Sports. And Dr. Gallucci, we appreciate you joining us. Can you explain in layman's terms just what exactly thoracic outlet syndrome is?
Well, basically, in a nutshell, it's a compression of the vascular and the nerves that are running into the shoulder, down into the arm, which causes a feeling of dead arm, soreness, and pain.
So what are, as you deal with some of those symptoms, would they show all the time? Is it something that develops over time, or can it happen all at once?
So it's something that can progress. It's something that could be symptomology based on increasing circulation. There's many different rationales of why it causes it. Sometimes it just could be the narrowing of the area where the thoracic outlet area is. So basically pressures in on the nerves, and over time as circulation increases and the vessels become dilated, they start to cause more symptoms. And as you could see, one of the biggest complaints that he had was he would get fatigued over time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have not examined them, and we've got to credit the Met staff for outstanding jumping on top of this, getting them to a specialist, definitely getting them diagnosed, and now they're going to know how to treat them appropriately.
Is this a tricky injury to diagnose?
It is. It's not a very common injury that we see, especially in the sports medicine realm. We do see it, but it's very, very rare.
Now, how about, if he undergoes the surgical option here, and as Sandy Alderson said, surgery is probably inevitable here for him, whether it's now or down the line at some point. Can this be career-threatening for Matt Harvey?
Well, any professional athlete that's going to have surgery can definitely be career-threatening. So to say any professional athlete having the surgery definitely could possibly do damage to their career, shorten their career, whatever it is. But ultimately, thoracic outlet syndrome surgery has come along so far in the last 10 years based on research, based on studies that the sports medicine community has done. We're seeing it in our clinics throughout JAG Physical Therapy. We see it very much so in swimmers, throwers, we see it in tennis players, we see it in wrestlers, and basically the rehab part of it is very, very important. The diligence of the athlete is very important, and a professional athlete should definitively be able to come back after a procedure like this.
Who's in danger of something like this? Just anybody who puts their arm over their head, a certain amount of times a day or whatever it might be?
Well, they talk about overhead athletes being more prevalent, being that they're constantly building their shoulder and their chest muscles, always trying to stay more efficient and stronger. So definitively overhead athletes, first we look at impingement components, and definitively if it's not an impingement, you definitively look next to thoracic outlet syndrome.
And we're talking right now with Dr. John Gallucci, president of JAG Physical Therapy in both New Jersey and New York City. Check it out, jagpt.com. As far as the non-surgical option here, and again, surgery is probably inevitable. It's just a matter of how long they might be able to hold it off. The Mets mentioned the possibility of a nerve blocker injection. Can you explain what that might be able to do for Matt Harvey?
Well, ultimately, the symptoms of pain would be reduced by doing a nerve block. I mean, we see that all the time done with athletes. We see it done with everyday people each and every day, especially with dealing with neurological symptoms coming from cervical or lumbar spine herniations. So basically what we're doing is they're decreasing the swelling in the nerve, which will decrease the symptoms overall. I think that the Met staff and Matt Harvey definitively have to make a decision. What is the long-range plan here? And as I said, the efficiency of getting them to see a specialist in St. Louis as quick as they did is half the battle. Now that we have the diagnosis, they can definitively make a decision on which way to go.
Now, as far as his performance goes, if the Mets are going to hold off on this, what would more likely be a reason why he has struggled this season? Is it the weakness in the arm, which I would guess a nerve blocker wouldn't really change, or is there a component of pain that could be involved that might be able to help out his performance if he delays the surgery?
Well, most people do complain with thoracic outlet syndrome of fatigue, of a dead arm feeling, and of pain. So definitively, if you do the nerve block, you could possibly alleviate that dead arm feeling and pain. So that would be the symptoms that would be eliminated immediately, and to see if he'd be able to throw without those two symptoms. That would be the big concern.
Okay.
But as you can imagine, anybody that's a professional baseball player that has to throw, if you've got pain, weakness, you want to be more efficient than that. So ultimately, as they said in the paper, he's got a decision to make, and I think that they'll make the best decision for the outcome of the athlete.
Can this be an overuse injury, or is it just kind of random?
It's more random. Do you see it as an overuse? Not really. No. I mean, you see, as I said, you see it in more overhead athletes than anything else.
All right, Dr. John Gallucci, really appreciate you shedding some light on thoracic outlet syndrome for us.
No problem. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
And you can check out Dr. Gallucci. He's the president of JAG Physical Therapy, www.jagpt.com, and giving us a little insight there. So for Harvey, dealing with some of that weakness, and you hear some of the symptoms that Dr. Gallucci talks about, and remember all year it was, well, why is it?